Good day, students. How is everybody? We are working today in the booth, and today I'm going to do your demo for the next weldment. This will be the last weldment, okay, for today. And so we are looking at the GMAW process, the gas metal arc welding process. And so, as you can see, we have our settings. We're running at about 17.5 volts, 17.4, 17.5 volts. We have our wire speed. I have my wire speed set at about 250, 225, 250, somewhere about there. I've got my gas. You can't see it on my screen, but I've got my gas set at about 25 cubic inches per minute. Right? And so we've checked our gun, we've checked everything. Everything is looking good. Something that you're going to notice that is different, we're going to be using a thinner plate because the forehand process is a less penetrating process. We're not going to be using the quarter inch plate or the 1/8 inch plate that we normally use. We're going to be using the 1/4 inch, which is this one right here. Okay, so make sure that when you cut your metal for your weldment, that you are cutting the right size material. And I have it marked over there on the rack. So you need to cut 2 pieces of 6-inch plate. That is 1/4 inch, and you need to cut it at 6 inches. All right. And then you're going to set it up for a lap weld. And as I've done with my other weldments, I like to get a little junk piece just to kind of set it up so that my lap welds look good. Now, I'm not going to weld these out completely because we would be here for, this would be a 30 or 45 minute demo. And I'm sure you don't want to watch me and listen to me weld for 45 minutes. Okay. And once we've done that, once I find my welding helmet, it's sitting right over here. This is the joys of a live welding demo. I knew something was wrong when I was watching the monitor. I was like, why does Clark look funny? Because he didn't have his welding helmet on. Okay. And so once you have your lap weld set up, you're going to take your gun, you're going to tack on the side. You want to be careful not to tack where you're going to weld. You typically do not want your weld to get in the way, or your tack to get in the way of your weld. Okay, so we're going to tack on the sides here. And just a little tack. That feels like the wire speed's running just a little bit too much. I'm going to crank it down just a touch. If you feel like the gun is trying to push away as you're welding, then you may have your wire speed set just a little bit too high. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, tacking on the side here, on the side, not on top where our weld's going to be. And sometimes it gets stuck inside there like that. That's fine. We got it taken care of. And let's see if I can get this. This is the joys of And then we're going to turn around and we're going to tag it on the other end. Again, tacking it on the edge, not where our weld is going to be. And you always want to make sure that you keep about, an eighth to a quarter inch of stick out on these. And you want to keep it nice and straight. Our first pass is going to be a 2-pass. Just as with SMAW and the stick electrode, we want to try to get our gun as close to perpendicular as possible. As we push the weld puddle this way, we push the weld puddle this way, okay? And we're going to watch the weld puddle, and you're probably going to have to get in a position, right, and maybe raise the table up or something, but get in a position where you can watch the weld puddle as it washes up on top of this this top joint here. Okay, and so you want to get in a position where you can watch that weld puddle from the front. All right, Mr. Clark, why did you just cut that electrode, that wire? Because when I cut it the first time, I noticed that I nicked it, and it would have given me a bad start. Remember, electricity travels on the outside of the wire, and I had a nick on there, and it probably would have given me a bad start. Yeah, I could have started it, but I just didn't want to risk it, especially on a demo like this. Okay, and so I'm constantly checking my wire speed, making sure that it stays the same, checking my gas before I get started. Okay, and again, your shielding gas is coming from the gas nozzle, so we want to try to keep it as close to perpendicular, maybe a slight forward or slight backward lane as you're pushing that puddle this way. And that's going to be your first pass. All right.
I set my leg up, my knee up on my leg here, and just kind of let it slide down off my knee as I push forward. That kind of gives me an angle of where I'm going. So let's see what we can do here today. Now I'm watching that puddle build up on the bottom. And don't get in too big of a hurry.
Okay. Just going to weld half of it out for you today. Okay. That's what your first layer should look like. Something pretty close to that. As you see, I've got good fusion between my bottom plate and my top plate, but it's not completely fused. My next weld is going to be at a 45. You know, I'm throwing things all over the place today, such as the life of a live feed, ladies and gentlemen. My next pass is going to be at a 45 at the top toe of that last pass. So I'm going to come in at a 45 and follow the toe of the weld. That's what's important that I follow, is the toe of that weld as and again, maybe tilt the front of the electrode about 30 degrees in direction of travel. Okay, so it's going to look something about like this. I'm going to tilt the gun away so that I'm pushing the puddle in the direction I want it to go. And
remember I'm following the toe of the weld.
Okay, and that's about what it should look like right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's about what it should look like right there. Okay, all right. Our next pass, and I'm going to flip this one over. Our next pass is what we call a 3-pass. You guys are familiar with those. Those are all done on 45-degree angles. So I'm going to come in with my first one at a 45. Again, slight tilt, pushing that puddle in the direction of travel. Then at the bottom of the toe and the top of the toe. All right. Unless I need to explain something, I'm not going to stop in between these. And we'll just see how it looks, okay?
So here goes my first one. So we're going to start at a 45. It's important that you keep the gun close enough to the weld so that you provide enough shielding gas to protect the weld.
Woohoo! That's hot. All right. What it should look like. First pass. Second pass is going to go at the toe, the bottom toe of that weld right there.
There we go. And again, remember we're following the toe of the weld, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom toe.
Okay. Now I'm going to come up on top and grab the top toe
of that weld. Here we go.
Okay, I'm not going to grab it because it's flaming hot. All right, but I will have this one set out there for you. So as with SMAW, 6011, the 6010 that we worked with, the 7018 that you worked with in the other classes, I should see all of that top weld. I should see about a third of that bottom weld. Okay. All right. I will be here for any questions. This is your next weldment after you finish the GMAW side on your X. After you finish the GMAW side on your X. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the booth. I'm out.